Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today we're going to have a little bit of a play with the Life is Beautiful stamp set. But we're not using this main feature, we're just going to use some of the sentiment and this nice texture stamp to create our card. And I'm teaming it with the Hippo and Friends dies. These have these great labels in there. There's 2 dies missing there, so that we're going to use in our project. But they're really nice label dies as well in that set, which I really love. So we're going to use those things for our project today. And the card we're making is going to be a variation on this card. Okay, just changing it up slightly. There's a couple of things I just wanted to change. Okay, so this is using Bermuda Bay colour from Stampin Up in one of the brights. And I actually used black ink for that sentiment, which I wasn't that happy with that decision, but it's a nice enough card. But we're just going to change it up slightly, and we're going to use a different colour entirely. We're going to use Merry Merlot, and I'm going to go back to my usual card recipe that I haven't used for a little while. So regular card base in Merry Merlot, and my card layer, which will be 5 3/4 by 4, and then we've got one of my mini layers, if you like. So these are 1 inch shorter and narrower than the others. So this is 3 1/8 by 4 7/8, and then we've got 3 inches by 4 3/4. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, like so. What we do need to do is just do a little bit of stamping and die cutting. So I'm going to use the coordinating Merry Merlot ink to stamp the Thinking of You sentiment. I've already got that mounted up onto my D block. D blocks are my favourite blocks. I use them all the time, and if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that that is the block I go to the most. I'm just going to cover that up just for a moment so I don't end up with that making a mess everywhere. I want to clean off that stamp, so just bear with me 1 second while I just do that quickly. Okay, that's going to be die cut with the smallest die in that set, and that looks about right in terms of alignment. And we want one other, this is the larger size, that's just going to be die cut plain. So they're ready to die cut. In fact, let's just rock those through right now using my cut and emboss machine. I have it on my desk all the time, so I can just quickly die cut things. Because it folds down as well, if you do have a smaller space, you can actually fold up the sides, and it will take up less room if you are using that. So that's going to die cut out really beautifully, and don't you just love that stitching that you get? Well, piercing. And the other really cool thing about those dies is that it actually leaves the pierced edge on the aperture as well. So if you are wanting to cut out something from a panel or as a feature, you get that as well, which is really cool. Okay, so that's what we've got right now. What we're going to do is do just a smidge of inking around the edge of that. So I'm just going to bring in a brush for that. I just touched the ink pad ever so slightly, and I'm rubbing off most of the ink. I'm just going to rub around the edge of this die cut. Okay, doesn't look like a lot, but it just makes all the difference, especially when you're layering on white, which is what we're going to do. Okay, almost gives it a bit of a pink tone. come off. So that's going to layer on top of there like that as our topper. And then while we've got the ink out, we are going to stamp around the edge of our larger card layer. And I'm going to use second generation ink and third generation ink to do that. Now, I made a bit of a mistake there because when you stamp off, if you've only got a partial stamp off, only some of the ink comes away, so just be mindful of that. I didn't pay enough attention when I was doing that. And so if necessary, just re-ink and stamp off twice, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to stamp off, and just to fill in that border there. And we're going to do that one. I forgot to turn off my notifications, just one moment. I want 2 off this one because I want that third generation there. Okay, and I might even just poke in a couple of those there. And then we want something to fill in this, so I think we'll go like that. Okay, so twisting and turning the stamp to get different portions showing around the edge. That just adds some extra interest to the layers that we're using today. Okay, managed to miss my oh dear, trying to protect myself isn't actually managed to get it on the top, so there you go. Okay, so we'll use some Stampin' Seal to attach this to the card base. Just looking at where that mistake is, and we'll put it on that side, and it might get covered up by the ribbon. So we'll line that up with a nice even border at the bottom and press that down. Looking for my bone folder, there it is, right in front of me. Okay, so there's our card base. And then our panel is just going to go on there. We're not stamping on this, so I'm just going to attach that to its layer. I don't really noticed how little I actually put on, little glue I put on the back of that. The seal is really quite strong, much stronger than our previous adhesive. Okay, cool. We're also going to layer up this one. So I'm trying to put those points in the middle of that, and then these points in the middle of that. So we've got it right height and I don't know, what is it called, side to side. It's in the middle is what we're trying to achieve. That's definitely going to go up onto some dimensionals, so I'm going to put 3 on there. So that's ready to stick on. I was just umming and ahhing about raising that up, but I don't think we will. So that's going to go on there. So it's a really nice, clean and simple card. But what we just want to do is just an idea of something else we can add. I'm going to add some of the this lovely white ribbon. This comes in the Flowers for Every Season combo. So that's going to go around that centre panel. So we're going to cut off, I don't know, about 10 inches, 12 inches or so, which is going to be more than enough to get that around there and tie it in a knot to the side. So I'm just going to get that done. So I'm just going to use just a teensy bit of that tape runner to get that across. And what I want to do is have the seam, if you like, the bend over here, so I've got as much as I can over this side for tying the knot. Okay, so that gives me the most options there to play with that. So I'm just going to secure that in place because I don't want to tie the knot just yet. I just want to hold it in place while we adhere this topper. So we can make sure that that's nice and central. You've got some really nice marks there to help you line things up, which is marvellous. Keep wanting to move that away and it's an ink blob. Now, can I get my knot right on first time? It worked out perfectly on my sample. I'm not quite sure. I don't know, the formula seems to change every time I do it. Whatever method you've got for tying pretty. Oh, that's turned out even better than the first one. Wicked. Right. So let's just have a bit of a twist and a fuss with that because, you know, that's what we do with ribbon, right? There we go. Oh, that's turned out lovely. Okay. So he can now be stuck onto the card base. So I don't trim in the ends of my ribbons and things until it's actually, the card's completely finished, if you like, because sometimes in fact I quite like it really long like that. So what I might do is I'm just going to take off just that end bit just to make it a nicer edge. And I just thought actually whether some punched flowers would actually be nice. So just to finish that off, so this wasn't on the original plan, but you know, plans change, and that might look quite nice. And just give it another bit of a feminine feel. And a bit of balance as well. Yeah, cool. Okay, right, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to use some multi-purpose glue just to add those on. It just needs to tuck in under there somewhere. I need to So there you go. Bit of changing your mind live on the in the recording. Okay. And I think that would look. Now we've got to decide what we're going to put in the middle, and I think we might just go with a pearl. Don't have a Merlot, what do you call it, Stampin' Blend. Could probably get away with cherry cobbler. think we'll just leave them white. There we go. Where did I put the lid? There it is. There we go, guys. So sort of a bit more of a feminine feel with the flowers on it. So you could leave it clean and simple, but I think you can see the design changes, and I think having the extra layer of the coloured cardstock just helps to define that layer against all that background stamping. They're not turned out great, and like I say, the addition of the flowers just at the last minute there just rounds off the design. Really hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. As always, if you check down in the description, all the products I've used today will be linked in there if you do decide to purchase anything. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Continue to stay safe, won't you? And I'll see you all soon. Okay, bye.